Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. We are 22 days away from kicking off year 4 of the Josh Heupel era. I've been talking a lot about the pressure that's on Josh Heupel. I feel like the time is now. It's his roster. It's his quarterback. It is go time. We had Reed Bacon and Kyler Kirbyson on the show Wednesday night, Pancakes and Bacon. Great conversation with those guys. If you missed it, go back and watch that live stream. But Reed said maybe pressure is the wrong word, but the expectations are high in this fan base. We look back to 2023, it felt like we were on cruise control. It felt like a letdown. It felt like we were just getting by. And look, sometimes we as fans, we think the national media, we think they hate us. We think they have some type of agenda against us, anti-Tennessee, and maybe sometimes that's right. Maybe sometimes that's accurate, whether we're talking recruiting or just overall picture of the program. But there's a buzz around Tennessee right now. You look at some of the national guys, they're talking about Tennessee not only as a contender, but as a possible national championship caliber team. And we're going to get into it. We're going to look at what Josh Pate had to say recently. We're going to go look at what Greg McElroy had to say about this football team. Some interesting things in the national media that I want to break down and talk about, but you guys know what you need to do first is that YouTube stuff, man. Just smash the thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. Click that bell for notifications so you don't miss out when we go live. We're going to be live on Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Go check out the merchandise, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Think about joining the channel. We get to do this every single day because of the members. Hit that join button. It's only $1. We would appreciate your support. Let's stop with the plugs. Let's get into this video from Josh Pate. I want to break down some of his comments. You know, he opened the video kind of talking about the injury to Jordan Thomas. And he talked about how, you know, this secondary was already a big question mark for Tennessee, and this just kind of adds to it a little bit. He said, this is a quote, people don't expect Tennessee to have some type of top 10 defense, but he said they do expect Tennessee to be able to score and score in bunches. And then he kind of went on to say something maybe I disagree a little bit with. He said now Tennessee may have to score in bunches because of the injury to Jordan Thomas, but I think it's more than offense. I think Tennessee's loaded on that defensive line. The linebacker room is solid. The secondary, yeah, it's all fresh faces, but everybody's talked about the speed and athleticism there. I think Ricky Gibson, I think Jermod McQuay, I think you got two pretty good lockdown corners. It's figuring out that safety position, more specifically figuring out that star position. But let's take a listen to what Josh Pate had to say about this Tennessee football team rolling into 2024.
But the other thing that they're really emphatic about, and we saw it when I was over there in the spring, is the size and the speed and the just overall physicality of this team. Looks like a college football playoff team. That's all I'm saying. Looks like one. That means nothing more than it means. But in the past, we'll look at these preview magazine ranking, college football playoff odds type lists. And, you know, I'll be around at a lot of campuses, and I know what Ohio State looks like. I know what Clemson looks like. I know what Bama, Georgia looks like. Then you may go to Tennessee and you may say, they don't look like them. Well, they haven't. Could still compete, but just you don't have the same caliber of athlete those other guys do. Tennessee, I would say this is the first time in a long time where the caliber of their athlete doesn't really look like it takes a back seat. Now, it's not on par quite yet, but it's not taking some distant back seat.
We're not where we want to be yet, but we look like a national championship program. We look like a college football playoff program. We look like a legitimate SEC program. And, you know, it's the age-old conversation that we've had on this channel before. Is it X's and O's or is it Jimmy's and Joe's? And I think it's a combination of both. But the fact that we've got more size, we've got more speed, we've got more athleticism, we've got guys that are in the national media, guys that are getting national recognition, like Nico Iamaleava, a guy that's a redshirt freshman, a guy that's only played one full game of football in the bowl game against Iowa. One game under his belt, but he's getting that national recognition. Guys like Cooper Mays, guys like James Pierce. We're having true, legitimate competition in spring camp and in fall camp. You know, something that Nelson sent me the other day, Nelson in Jackson on Twitter. You guys know who he is. Nelson's always hanging around the channel. He said Ben McKee was talking about how Ethan Davis is competing with Holden States for that starting tight end position. Jason Swain himself, a guy that knows a little something about the wide receiver position, has said that Chaz Nimrod is pushing Squirrel White in the slot. And that's a good thing. That's a good problem to have when you've got guys pushing each other. Competition breeds success. And some people may cry about it. They may say, Boogie, if Squirrel doesn't win the competition, he's going to transfer. Fine. Let him transfer. Let the best man win. That's going to benefit Tennessee, even on the offensive line. Andrej Karic competing with Shamrod Umarov. We've got true, legitimate competitions, and that's what makes this football team special. The depth. We've got talent. We've got speed. We've got athleticism. And you want to talk about Jimmys and Joes? Well, I think Josh Heupel knows a little something about X's and O's, and it's not disrespecting Hendon Hooker. But going back to the show Wednesday night, Reed Bacon said, Josh Heupel took Hendon Hooker, a mediocre quarterback from Virginia Tech, and turned him into a Heisman Trophy finalist. That's the truth. That's the reality. That's no hate on Hendon Hooker. Josh Heupel's flipped this roster. Josh Heupel's turned this into an SEC football team. Now, there's a lot of buzz. There's a lot of hype. There's a lot of expectations on Nico Iamaleava. I want to go over and take a listen to what Greg McElroy had to say on Always College Football. Let's go take a listen to this and break it down.
If Nico Iamaleava is a Heisman finalist, we all know what went down last year. Okay, the transition in 2022 from Hendon Hooker to Joe Milton wasn't ideal, right? Nico Iamaleava coming in as the top recruit, very gifted, looked really comfortable in his first career start against Iowa. We know Iowa is a very sound, solid defense. I think if he's a Heisman finalist, not only is Tennessee in the playoff, but Tennessee is a legitimate national championship contender because this offense, and while they learned last year to get by, they did a great job in creating avenues in the run game. And Nico, I think, is a pretty capable weapon with his own legs. So I think that if he's capable of playing to the top of the sport at his position, Tennessee is going to be in a great position to win the national championship. It's going to be asking a lot for a guy that has only played one game, but crazier things have happened, especially with a ceiling like that. It wouldn't shock me if Nico's every bit as advertised.
Some interesting comments there. First, he talks about getting by last year. Tennessee just got by last year. They found a way to have some success last year. You got by and throw a dart at the dartboard for Joe Milton. We've hyped up Nico so much on this channel. And Coach Jay said it best. I think it was Sunday night on the fan call-in show. He's, look, we can't say anything else. There's nothing more to talk about with Nico. We've said it all. Number one player in the country, 5-star quarterback. We brought all the reasons to this channel, the reasons that Coach Jay's brought to this channel. Going and seeing what Coach Pearson has said about Nico, a guy that coached Bryce and coached Nico. He said Nico's going to be a Heisman Trophy winner. Nico's going to be a number 1 overall draft pick. You can believe it. You cannot believe it. The bottom line is what Coach Jay said on Sunday is Nico has to go out and he has to prove it on the grass. But for me, I fully expect that. I expect Nico to go prove it on the grass. I think Nico is the guy that we think he is. But for me, 2024 success is not just about Nico going out and getting this offense back to true form. I think this offense is going to look like 2022, dare I say better. Yeah, better than the number 1 scoring offense in the country. I think this offense is about to be better. But it's not about Nico. It's not necessarily about that. It's about the guys around Nico. It's about this wide receiver room. Go back to listen to J.D. Pickell talking about taking in a spring practice. He got to see everything, right? It's not like the media getting to see the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes. J.D. Pickell got a full access to an entire practice, and he came out of that practice saying Tennessee's got 4 guys. They've got 4 guys on this roster that could start anywhere in the country, that being Brew McCoy, that being, Squirrel White, that being Dante Thornton and Chris Brazel. And now you've got word that Chaz Nimrod is pushing Squirrel White. That goes from 4 to possibly 5. It's the guys around Nico. It's a veteran-led offensive line. It's a veteran-led defensive line. It's a defensive line that is as deep as this defensive line room has been, and I don't know how long. You guys can put it in the comments. When have we had a defensive line this loaded and this deep? Listening to Coach Rice on Sunday in the fan call-in show, rattle off Joshua Joseph moving over to defensive end and just how deep that position is. They're deep on the inside. They're deep at the edge. I think this linebacker room is solid. I think Coach Inge, the things that he said to the media, he's very high on his linebacker room. So while I do expect Nico to be that guy, and I do think Nico could be a Heisman Trophy finalist this year, maybe next year, probably, I think it's about the overall depth of this football team. I think it's about the guys that are around him. I think it's about this Tim Banks defense. Josh Pate saying you're probably going to have to go out and score every time now. I disagree. I don't think you're going to have to do that. And that's what that football team in 2022 had to do. They had to go out and score every single possession. They had to go put up 50 points a game. But this Tim Banks defense has gotten better year in and year out. The linebacker room is solid. The defensive line is deep. Can that secondary, can they contribute? Can they contribute? I get it. The injury to Jordan Thomas, it's a big deal. But I think Boo Carter's a guy that we've all been pretty high on, so I think this defense is going to be just fine. Greg McElroy says if Nico is a Heisman Trophy finalist, Tennessee's a national championship contender. Josh Pate says Tennessee looks the part. They look like a college football playoff team. I think this football team's got a 10-2 run in them, and I think they've got a college football playoff appearance. What do you think? Put it in the comment section. As always, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. I would greatly appreciate it. Go check out the merchandise. Think about joining the channel. All the links to do that are in the description below. Every little bit helps, man. Everybody that joins this channel for just $1 a month, that's why I get to do this full time. I say it all the time, but that is the reason. Without those memberships, we wouldn't be doing this. We wouldn't be making videos every day. We wouldn't be live streaming 6 days a week throughout the course of the season. But you guys give us the opportunity to do that, and I am grateful. But that is going to do it for this one. Jump to the comment section. Let's talk about it. National championship in 2024. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.